Okay, I'm back again. Time to change the oil. Just general go around. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the oil, the K&N oil catch can. Yeah. Nothing more to say there. I guess we'll just pull it off and see what's got it. Let's see. There's roughly about 5,000 miles on it since I put this on. Let's see if I can get it all one-handed without dropping it, huh? And yep, the threads are a little long-winded. Yeah, eventually we'll get it. It's just about there. All right, let's see what we got. Well, we got oil in there. Doesn't look nasty. It's not clean either. Of course, got to keep in mind, let's see, I did the break-in oil change at around 2,500 miles. And that's when I installed this. So, I mean, the engine's still new. It's about 7,600 miles. I'm doing the oil changes every 5,000 miles. So I guess right now, while it's still a new engine, let's see what we got here. Might not be looking too bad. Yeah. Tell you what, let's go over here and do this. The white paper towel test, huh? If I can get this folded. Again, doing this one-handed, so that's always entertaining, isn't it? All right. You know, it doesn't look filthy. Again, it's not clean, but it isn't filthy. There's definitely some crud going on right there. So, I would say it's doing its job anyway. It's keeping the oil from, really, the whole point of this thing is to keep the oil from going back into the intake. It's not a filter. It's not supposed to be taking contaminants out of the oil. All it's doing is stopping that amount of oil that we saw in there from going into the intake. So I guess it's achieving that. It's doing its job. So I would say there was probably a tablespoon of oil in there that it kept from going into the intake. So there we go. Moving on, I'm going to change the oil. We're going to review the Ronin oil pan plug that I had put on, and maybe even take a look at the K&N air filter and see how dirty it is. So, all right. You know, since I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and review the whole oil change procedure for anybody who needs a refresher. There's that's the oil filter, and back out there for a little perspective where it's at. And there, of course, is the oil filler. Let's see what we got. A 27 millimetric socket. That's lefty loosey, righty tighty, all that neat shit too, huh? So know if I can get you in there, see down below, and let it sit for a little bit, so I'm hoping I don't have a big mess. The filter will come right out with the housing. The little bit of a pull, and it looks like it's there. That's a little better, isn't it? Pull it right out. Pull it out quick. Turn it over. Oh, filter didn't come out with it, so I got this part. Let's set it over here. Make a mess over there. There's the filter. There it comes. And let it drip out and then turn it over. It don't look too bad for 5,000 miles. Of course, again, like I said, the engine's still basically new, so there's what you're looking at from the top once it's out. The little drips there, you know, you want to wipe them up. That neat shit. I'm gonna pause it here and then we'll get on with the rest. Okay, real quick, got 3 O-rings. Came with the kit. The filter. Got this little O-ring here. Got that little O-ring and that one there too. You know, I've always been, these O-rings don't wear out after one run. A lot of times in the past vehicles, I've sometimes skipped changing the O-rings. You know, that's a personal preference. They do need to get changed eventually. I'm going to go ahead and change them out. I'll just use a, yeah, probably a pick like that. And get underneath there and pull them off. I'll get that done and we'll put it back in. Just as a note, I've always just changed the oil filter first, because anything that is left down in there will drain into the, see, it's what was in there. You can't see it because I don't have enough light, but there was oil in there and now it's gone. It's drained down into the pan. So you give it an opportunity to drain down, get as much dirty oil out as you can. Moving on. So I'm sure it goes without saying, but I'm just going to cover it. Take a little bit of clean oil, a light film on your new O-rings. That's what it looks like when the new oil filter is pushed all the way in. Just as a note, you know, of course Ford is going to recommend using Ford Motorcraft oil. It's a good oil, and I get it off of Rock Auto. I get the filters off of Rock Auto too. I'll order you know, 2 or 3 changes in advance. They deliver. They got a good price. You know, I guess you can't beat that. So that just goes right down in there. And tighten it up. You don't want to get all carried away tightening it up. I can't remember what it is. It's something like around, I can't remember what the torque specification is. You can always look that up. All those numbers are online. Get that done, and then we'll do the oil. So that's about the bottom of it, and that right there, that's tight enough. So, all right, moving on. Okay, so if you got a skid plate, got 4 bolts to get. Got one here, one right there, and then you got, sorry about that light, got that one and this one. I'll try to, oh good Lord, I bet I'm just rolling this damn camera all around, but there's a little perspective. I'm kind of passenger side front corner looking at this. Again, right there, over there, back there in that hole, and then right there in that hole. Those two have to come out completely. These two up front, you just have to back them off and the skid plate will slide out. So this is the review of the Ronin oil plug. So according to oil, yep, you can unscrew this just in case I'm putting the bucket underneath of it. And you can unscrew it, and supposedly nothing will come out because there's a check valve. Okay, we got that part, huh? Yeah, I might be fighting this because I put a little, here's the piece you screw into it, and I put a little short piece of hose on there, but it's not a very tight fitting, so I don't know if I'm going to be fighting this or what. Let's find out. Let's see if I can get it started. You know what? I'll take it off the hose, catch the first thread. All right. And push the hose up on there. Let's see if we can see what's happening here. And supposedly the oil should start running. There it goes. Okay, well. Well, so far it's working as advertised. I don't have a big damn mess of oil underneath the truck. And it's draining. Of course, I didn't heat it up. It's cold, so this is going to take a while. Yeah. So we'll just take a break here and go smoke a cigarette, drink a little coffee, huh? That part works. This seems all right. I mean, you don't have to take the whole, pull that stupid plastic plug out and have oil going everywhere immediately. I will say this. I've read that ideally, when you use that thing, you want to set this tire, oh, I don't know, up on a damn 4x4 maybe. Something to get this side of the vehicle a little bit higher, because that Ronin will allow, oh, I don't know, I think I figured it was like about 1/8 of an inch of oil to remain in the oil pan. Being as the oil looks good, that I'm changing, like I say, only 5,000 miles, I'm not going to worry about that little bit in the bottom. Yeah, and I'm going to be pretty diligent about doing 5,000 mile oil changes, so I'm not going to worry about that little bit of oil. These things are supposed to. A lot of argument out there. I've seen it, but the book says 6 quarts of oil. You know, that's a fair amount of oil for a pan. You know, compared to days when you only had like 4 quarts or something. Anyway, let's move on, huh? Yeah, while we're waiting for the oil to drain, took let's see, these 4 screws out of the top of the K&N. Of course, it's only been 5,000 or 6,000 miles, so I don't expect it to be dirty. But there you go. The foam, it's still clean. I might blow it out, but yep. Nothing to see here, huh? Okay. You know, I was thinking about it, so I decided to, on this oil catch can, because, you know, there wasn't a lot of oil in that catch can for 5,000 miles. So I figured I'd just pull this off. And that's dry. I mean, I can't really see up in there too well, but this is where it's going back into the intake. And I mean, it's dry. There's no drips, nothing. So I guess it's doing exactly what it advertised. And still being a new engine, I imagine there's not a lot of oil slipping by and running through anyway. So, yep, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Just thought, yeah, pull the hose off and see if there's any oil getting by, and it doesn't appear to be. It's doing its job. Okay, it's pretty much done. So I'm going to unscrew it. Oh, sorry. Now, remember we talked about this when I first got it. It's got a check valve in there. So now that check valve is supposed to pop right back into place. And it feels like it has. Yep. Wait a minute, now it's not. Anyway, yeah, I think it's back. Yeah, it's back out. But you get used to seeing it. See it up in there? You'll get used to seeing how far out it is when it's checked. See, it's dripping just a little bit. So I think that's what happens. Why it has gotten bad reviews is because when you take this the drain plug out of it, it doesn't seat square. Then the next time you take the cap off, it's already open and oil's coming out. So anyway, that's about all I can really say about that thing. You know, I really won't know until the next oil change. So there it is. Okay, got the oil in it, and this is for whoever just got their vehicle and is looking at this. After you put the oil in, foot on the brake, foot on the gas, push a button. And that has just primed your engine. Just put oil in the oil filter. And yeah, I mean, that's you're not starting basically your turbos dry. You know, we all know back in the day with regular engines, you just put the oil in it, fire up and go. Being able to do that, it allows you to prime your oil filter, get some oil up into the top end, and it'll be held there. So when you do start it, there's already oil there. It doesn't have to wait a second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever long it is for the oil to get to your turbos. So having primed it, let's see how much oil I got in here. Well, I'm gonna get stood up so I can see what I'm doing. Pull that out. Hold on a second. I'm going to wipe this off and then dip it again. And it's hard to get to. Okay, sorry about all that. And pull it out. Let's see what we got. So it's just shy. Let's get it right there on the, yeah. So it's just shy of full. So it's going to take its full. There's a 5 and a little over a half a quart. So it's going to take the rest of that quart. So the Ronin did let the vast majority of the oil out. There's not that much left in the oil pan. So I'm not going to worry about tilting it in the future. I'm going to go ahead and add that last quart or half quart. And we'll be done. Except for, you know, they got this washer fluid thing in a really weird place. You can't really see when it gets full or empty. But I gotta go up the road and get some washer fluid. Other than that, I'm pretty much done. I gave it a once over, inspected everything. So in summation, I guess, well, there's a word I don't use very often. I think I'm pretty happy with the K&N oil catch can. The Ronin oil plug drain, I'm happy with that, but after I turned it off that one time, I got up underneath there with a small screwdriver, and it did not pop completely out. So I popped it back out. Next time I change the oil and I take the cap off, there should be no oil running out of it. We will see in 5,000 miles. Well, you know, we'll see. Of course, the cap is on there, so if there is any problem with the little check valve in there, that will be taken care of. That'll hold it. Questions, comments, like, hate, follow if you dare. I'm always doing something or trying to do something. Some of the things I want to do in the future, this intake pipe, from the turbo going down to the intercooler. I intend to replace that with the Mishimoto at some point. The intercooler itself, I intend to replace it with the Mishimoto also at some point. We're talking be somewhere between $1,600 and $2,000. So that's going to be a little while. I also want to replace my muffler with a Borla. I don't want this thing to sound obnoxious, but I'd like the additional gas flow, and I'd also like to have the twin exhaust tips coming out the back. I think that would look nicer. That's another $1,000. So, you know, some of the things I'm wanting to do here in the future are getting a little expensive. It's going to take me a little bit more time to come up with the cash. I already got this, the K&N charge pipe. This comes from the intercooler into the intake. You know, after I popped that on there, I did notice a little bit of a little bit more of a zip when I hit the gas. So I think who knows? You know, a lot of times you spend money on stuff and you got to convince yourself, yeah, that's wonderful. I'm not really convincing myself of anything. I'm happy with it. Let's put it that way. I can tell you that right now, I cannot tell you how much the K&N had to do with it. The K&N charge pipe had to do with it. Any of the other things I've been doing. But right now, highway miles, I'm getting, this is, again, what the hell have I got? It's a Badlands Bronco with the 35s on it. It's got the Sasquatch package. And I'm getting about 18.3, sometimes seeing 18.4 miles to the gallon. From everything I've seen, that's doing pretty good. But that's highway miles. Once I start driving around town, I drop down to 16.5 to 17 miles to the gallon around town. Just throwing that out there for you guys. Again, if you want to know anything, if I can help, if I missed something, if you want to see a better picture of something, just holler. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting free stuff to do these things with. I'm just, you know what? I love my Bronco, and I hope you guys love your Bronco too. And, you know, let's do things together and get her done, right? All right, y'all take it easy out there. Okay, real quick, before we wrap this up, might as well hit this little deal too. Resetting your oil sensor counter, or whatever you want to call it. without no feed on any pedal. Just turn it on. Stereo. There we go. Hit OK. Get rid of that stuff. There we go. We need to hit OK again. So I'm told. No, I didn't want to do that one. Hold on. Okay, all right. I was pushing OK too soon. First button you want to push is this guy, the 3 lines. You get this popped up. Scroll down. Excuse me. Let's see. Get down here to settings. Then you push OK. Then you go down to oil life, press OK. And now hold OK to reset the oil life. And we're done. Back to 100%. You saw that it said 47%. I'm not really buying that. Ford says 5,000 miles. So by God, that's what I'm doing. Anyway, so yeah, just using this guy to get started, this one to acknowledge each screen you want to go to, and this one to scroll up and down the screens. Hope that helps. Yeah. Y'all take it easy.